What is going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 6 of the Make It Rain podcast. There's a lot that happened this week. Alongside Anthony Collazo from the Hockey News, I'm Joe O'Regan. Let's do this. Before we get into everything that's going on this week, this episode is brought to you by Gowdy Law. We all know having a game plan is key, but when it comes to your family's future, are you ready? Gowdy Law is here to help. Specializing in estate planning, Gowdy Law ensures your loved ones are protected from losing a ton of money and time to probate when you pass away. Just like on the ice, preparation matters. Don't wait till the last minute to make the right play. Visit GowdyLaw.com today to start planning for the future. Get estate planning pricing and a free consultation right on their website. It's that simple. The price is literally right on their website. Gowdy Law, making estate planning easy, understandable, and affordable. Link is in the description. Before we go into the Rain Rapid recap, I'm hitting your soft spot. Talk about the Yankees for 1 minute.
No, I don't really want to. I don't really want to.
No, you don't want to?
I think all I got to say is I went to the game today.
If you flash back to last week, would tonight have been Game 7?
Tonight would have been Game 7.
Yeah, tonight would have been Game 7, and let's just say Collazo did show up, and he did have an active running X account tonight. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Anyways, I'll shift it off that because the Angels had to just acquire Jorge Soler and Scott Kingery of all people. Oh, and Ryan Noda.
It's been a busy few days already for
the
Artie Moreno and company.
For the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of California, the United States of America of planet Earth. Okay,
yes.
Got it. So I personally think they're only doing that just to ruin the Dodgers' fun. This is not a baseball podcast, however. This is an Ontario Reign podcast. This is the pipeline.
I feel like
for
you
the
say
Los
that.
Angeles.
I feel like you say that every episode.
You absolutely bet I do. It's not like your intro. You were saying, Joe, all the people watching at home. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
And with that being said, let's go into Friday night's game. Rain Rapid recap presented by that guy.
The Ontario Reign would head up to 15 North to take on the Henderson Silver Knights for the second time in 5 days. In the first, Riley Walsh. Ow! He scores on the power play to put the Reign up early. Boy, did they need that. Later in the period, Sean was in his element again, tipping in a shot from Jack Millard. A multi-goal lead for the Ontario Reign. That's the first time this year.
What?
Into the second. Here we go again. Mason Morelli handles a hard rebound off the bouncy back wall at Lee's Family Forum and puts it past Portillo. It's 2-1. Back come the Nightmares. A clean-shaven Jacob Doty, though, the Reign's longest tenured player, would put the Reign up 3-1 on a wrister. Here come the Valiant Silver Knights. Shot on shot on shot on shot. Portillo standing on his head until the very end. And Charles Hudon would go on and score his first goal of the season on the empty netter. Reign take this one 4-1 the final.
I almost have a feeling if you were talking to Eric Portillo that night, you were talking to a brick wall, everybody. That man went 34 for 35 in saves. And the Reign scored on the power play. Let's celebrate real quick. Let's go. Clap it up.
I believe when they scored on that power play, they were 2 for 26 up to that point. Because the first power play of the game that came, I think, about 2 minutes in, they didn't score. Although, despite not them scoring, they looked a lot better. You can tell that these 4 days off, they came out re-energized. Mm-hmm. They probably had a different game plan. And they looked a lot better compared to the previous 5 games that they played.
And that's one thing that the Reign, I think, really established over those past 4 days. Like, Marco Sturm's a good coach. Marco Sturm, however, I think we saw it a little bit last year sometimes, lacked a little bit of the in-game adjustments. He didn't need the in-game adjustments this week. He obviously picked up the win Friday. We'll get to Saturday's game in a moment. So it all just came together. It clicked for the Ontario Reign. They played a full 60-minute effort. One thing I was ranting about in last episode, they were whacking at pucks, getting pucks in deep, getting pucks in the net. It almost sounds like what I was ranting about last week kind of came to fruition this game.
Yeah, for sure. And that first power play really set the tone.
Absolutely.
For the entire game. Because then when they went on the power play again, not too long later, they scored, finally broke through, and they needed that. They needed it bad, especially after, their horrid face-off stats to begin the year. Sean Element scores the second goal of the game. He scored last week against Henderson in the 5-2 loss. He has been playing phenomenal.
He's in his element, baby.
Yeah, and then
get used to hearing him. I mean, the fourth line just looked awesome Friday night. He got a goal. Jacob Doty on a fat rebound, wristed it basically into a wide open net to extend the Reign lead to 3-1. Or no, 3-1. I had it right. Yeah. Okay.
And then you can just tell that, the fourth line and the entire game, they were frustrating the heck out of the Silver Knights because it started to get chippy late into the second period, and they were just getting frustrated because the Reign were just giving them everything, and the Silver Knights had no answers for them.
Good. That's how it should be for the Ontario Reign. That's the team that we saw in the second half last year. Like a lot of the guys on the Reign that were back from last year's squad, they needed to know what they were like. They know what they're capable of. You might not have the key players that know what they're capable of, but that whole team is so dang good. Yeah. And they finally found their identity Friday night. And it's so rewarding and so nice. And we're going to get into it Saturday night. It just got even better for them.
Oh, for sure. This was Portillo's first game since opening night when the Reign lost 5-0 to the San Jose Barracuda at home. Portillo was out 3 weeks due to an illness. We don't know
a weak immune system.
Yeah, we don't know the extent
Shout out
of the
Team
illness.
Edge.
But at the end of the first period, the Reign outshot the Silver Knights 18-5. It was a crazy period. They played really good. At the end of the game, when the final buzzer sounded, 38-35. So the Silver Knights really made a valiant effort. I wasn't kidding just to make the pun and the joke in the Reign Rapid Recap.
Of course.
They made a valiant effort to come back in this game. And Portillo, if Portillo is not in net, the Reign probably do not win this game.
We'll get to the other goaltending show in Saturday night's game. But I love how I'm just giving you Saturday night when we got a Reign Rapid Recap coming up for that in a moment.
This was also a game where the Reign last season, they would come out slow and they would get down early and they would always make great efforts to come back in the game. And it was kind of the Reign's MO all last year.
Absolutely.
In this game, they came out really hot.
And then they cooled off.
And they cooled off, which is what happened in the 5-2 loss as well. I believe the Reign scored first in that game at home. They did not. But they didn't. But the first 5 minutes looked really good.
Yes.
And the forecheck was strong, and they looked like they had the extra motor to them. And after those 5-10 minutes of play, they cooled off. So that's something that you got to work on with this team, especially in this game. Even though they won, it was still the same thing of they score early, they look good, then they kind of cooled off at the end. And their back check wasn't good. They had a lot of defensive zone breakdowns in this game. So that's something you got to clean up.
Absolutely. Portillo was basically standing on his head this game. I just love talking about goaltenders when they do good. Anaheim Ducks, Lucas Dostal standing on his head too. So I love pointing out the Ducks when I can. So it's nice that we're 500 right now. It's not going to be fun in February when we're 10 games under probably.
Happens every year to Anaheim.
Yeah, Greg Cronin's probably going to be in the hot seat if he can't find the locker room. Sorry, it's easy to point fingers, but the Anaheim Ducks are just that way. This is the Ontario Reign podcast, by the way.
Another thing that I had noted in my notes is that Portillo, there was a few times in this game that he would save the puck and then look behind him. And that's something where obviously he hadn't played it in 3 weeks. That could be just purely, he just hasn't played a lot, and I don't know if that's an issue.
You had an X post on this. What did you say? There was something during the first period. It was Portillo doesn't look as sharp tonight or something like that.
I think I put out that he looked slow. And
that's right.
Because when the first goal that went in from Mason Morelli, it was off the back wall, and Portillo was slow to find the puck behind him and then slide over. But at the same time, that's a really hard play to adjust to as a goalie, where the puck, especially at Lee's Family Forum, that puck bounces off the back wall, and Jared Schaffrin, the Reign broadcaster, was talking about this a lot on the broadcast.
Yeah, it's almost identical to the Tyler Madden goal against the San Jose Barracuda.
Yes.
Shot right off the back wall, absolute carom right onto their tape. Mason Morelli had all but a wide open net putting that thing in. So, it's kind of unfortunate. Yes, Portillo did look a little bit slow on that. However, I've seen a lot worse out of goaltending. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of a lot worse out of goaltending, we're going to see that in Game 2 right about now.
Oh, you betcha. Reign Rapid Recap. version 2, game 3 of the season series against the Henderson Silver Knights. After Friday night's triumph, the Reign looked to reign supreme over the Silver Knights in front of the home crowd faithful. There's a lot of stuff that happened in. Strap in, buckle up, get ready for this. Here we go. A minute and a half in, Jacob Ravenek scores his first goal of the year, but Martin Chromiak against the team with the Chrome Buckets gets his first goal of the year to even things up at 1. Matthias Sapovaliv quickly gets the Silver Knights back on top with a miscue by Phoenix Copley. Kind of a misread. He goes 5-0 to give the Silver Knights the lead. Samuel Fagimo, ladies and gentlemen, after 7 games, he has his first game of the year, and the Reign take a 2-1 lead. Nope, they tied it up 2-2, pardon me. But that was the last time that they would be tied because Jack Studnicka pots a basic tap-in goal to give the Reign a 3-2 lead. Heading into the intermission, the Reign put up 14 shots in the first period. Get used to hearing this because I'll keep going on it. In the middle frame, Charles Houdon scores to give the Reign a 4-2 lead. It's his second goal of the year after the empty netter Friday night. Then Chandler Wachinski pulls the Knights within 1. Then the Reign began to drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. Let's not get copyrighted. Samuel Fagimo scores his second of the game. And then Sean Element gloves off with Riley McKay, proceeds to absolutely beat him up. Then after, Sean Element comes back out the box and shorthanded, baby. He's in his element. Goes top cheddar Element Roofing Company to extend the Reign lead to 6-3. Heading into that intermission, final frame, Glenn Godden gets his first goal in the black and silver. The Reign take a 7-3 lead. Jack Studnicka then scores his second goal to give the Reign an 8-3 lead. After that, the chippiness just reached its climax. Jacob Doty goes after Mitch McLean. Samuel Hellenius goes after Riley McKay. Fights all over the place, almost a line brawl. Everyone's basically off the ice by that point. Misconduct's everywhere. And that wraps up an eventful Saturday night with the Reign winning 8-3 and outshooting the Silver Knights 50-20. I used the whole song on that Reign Rapid recap. Holy smokes!
I was checking my soundboard and I'm like, man, he better get going. This song is going to wrap up pretty soon here.
Yeah.
What a game.
That might be an understatement. First of all, for the first time since I think 2019, the Ontario Reign put 50 shots on goal. I mean, it almost just seems like what I was ranting about last week. They I don't know if they listen to the podcast. I don't know if Hickets or some of them do, but no,
Hopefully.
don't start.
Hopefully.
Don't start. But it's almost like everything I was trashing them about, it all just like that. It's what they worked on and it works.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, those 4 days off prior to Friday's game, it seemed like it really helped. They've been doing a lot of team bonding. I heard that they had a Halloween party.
Let's go.
A lot of team meetings. And they were bonding a lot. It's like after this game, Jeff Malot's brother, Mike Malott, had a UFC fight. And even though that the fight already happened while they were playing the game, they didn't know what happened. So they went into the locker room, put on a replay of the fight, and they were reacting to it. And you can hear them screaming from from underneath and stuff.
Wow! I wonder whoever the announcers are. You're the UFC
probably
guy.
Anik and no, probably not because it was a fight night.
Was it a prelim or something?
It was a fight night.
It was
So
a
it
UFC
wasn't
fight night.
Yeah, it wasn't a main card.
Okay.
But yeah, Studnicka talked about it a little bit, how the team is becoming closer and that he appreciates it as someone who came over from the Canucks. It's a new organization and stuff. And yeah, man, they played really good the past 2 games. Now, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a quick question real quick.
Let's go with it. Here we go.
Do you think that the Reign played really good this game?
Yes.
Or do you think the Reign played really good this weekend, Friday, Saturday? Because they just overall just turned the corner and they got better? Or are the Henderson Silver Knights just that bad?
I'll make the argument.
Don't say it's a mixture of both. I want a real answer.
I'll make the argument that the Silver Knights are just not that good. We looked into the first game of the series and we're like, oh, this team's 1-5. Proceeds to get absolutely whooped.
Yeah.
And then Friday comes. I mean, everything just went right for the Reign. However, some of the things. So the Silver Knights Saturday, a lot of rushes from the Ontario Reign. their back check did not look good.
Oh man, the Silver Knights back check was awful. I don't think I've seen a worse back check in the AHL than this game.
Wow.
It was bad.
And that's bold because considering the fact that the Raid literally had this on their heads last Sunday.
Yeah, but like they were
This
committing a
one
lot of infractions last Sunday.
Oh boy, here we
The
go.
Silver Knights were just like Chromiak got behind them like 3 separate times in the game alone.
There might have been 4 breakaway chances.
Yes. Hudon, I think, had a couple.
Hudon had one. Element had one shorthanded.
Yeah.
Then he goes top cheese.
A lot of 2-on-1 chances in this game. And then
Pinelli.
on top of that, the Silver Knights had 8 infractions in this game.
Real quick, can I just point out the first goal? Francesco Pinelli, what a feed.
Oh, yeah.
Saucer pass, lands flat, tape to tape. I mean, Chromiak, all he had to do was shoot the dang thing.
That was a slick feed from Pinelli. There.
Very good feed. And then I want to bring up Jack Sunika on the 8th goal of the game for the Rain. Little dipsy doodle, little
toe drag.
Little toey to the forehand beats Papirny. Yes, got it right. Beats Papirny underneath the glove.
Yeah.
The glove.
It was
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it was underneath the glove. Rain extend the lead. That's about all she wrote with that game. I mean, do you want to really thrash the Silver Knights defense wise? Like,
man, I don't you gotta give credit to the Rain because you can play bad and not capitalize. The Rain were scoring. They were still putting the puck in the back of the net.
Now, granted, when you're given 8 power play opportunities, you have to score on at least 2 of them. The Rain did go 3 for 8 on the power play this game. Thank the good Lord. Because the one thing that just really upset me with the San Jose Barracuda series is that the Rain, I think, how many penalties was it? 0 for 7 both games?
Yeah.
It was something down that line. And we're just sitting here and they're like, it's like the scene of, you can't keep getting away with this. Like, you can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah, and it was one of those things back then, going back to like when the season first started against San Jose, where it's like the Barracuda are good, but they commit a lot of penalties.
Oh, buddy.
And the Rangers weren't capitalizing, and that was a part of why they were playing so bad. Like, there's no other way around it.
I mean, tonight, we're recording this on Saturday night, so the San Jose Barracuda lost to the Iowa Wild tonight 6-2, and the Iowa Wild are 2-6 this year. So, obviously, I'm going a little bit off course here. Do you think that's going to apply to the Ontario Reign traveling to that central time zone when they play Texas and then play the Wild at some point this year?
I think it's harder going from the central to the west.
Absolutely. And I think it's even harder. And I think that's why we think Loveland and the Colorado Eagles is such a hard place to play. And I say the same thing about Calgary too.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man, I mean, this is going to sound a little bit of like a Captain Obvious moment, but all the lines look phenomenal. I mean, the fourth line continues to be outstanding for what the fourth line is supposed to be. Element has been such a huge acquisition, and that's something I don't think that we didn't say before the season.
It.
Yeah, Element has been phenomenal to start the season.
Absolutely agree. Sean Element being a physical presence on the ice. I mean, he's finishing checks. He's a faster Jacob Doty, if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jacob Doty, sorry, I'm going to state the obvious here. He's the slowest guy on this team. But
he's the last guy you want on like a one-on-one
or
whatever.
Stop, please. So Sean Ellman's basically a faster Jacob Doty. He finishes checks. He's not afraid to lay the body. And obviously, by what we've seen these past couple games, he's not afraid to get dirty either. And another thing, Francesco Pinelli was involved in a couple scrums today too.
Oh, yeah.
Something that we almost thought was impossible for him to get into last year.
It was almost like Brent Clark last year where he started the season and it's like, man, you gotta, if you want to be a good NHL player, you can't be so timid. You have to get in deep. You have to, you can't be scared.
You gotta get into
get hit, and Pinelli was kind of the same way this year, completely different. I mean, he's like instigating the way Brent Clark used to do in the playoffs last year.
Absolutely. Getting under guys' skin, getting into the nitty gritty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Stunica, man, 2 goals today.
Absolutely.
He looks spectacular.
He looks solid
so far. He is probably the best Reign acquisition that the Reign have had so far this season, with as far as assists and his motor. I mean, he plays almost like an Alex Turcotte type of game, and I think that if he keeps this up, the Reign, he's going to be the first option to come up as a forward for the Kings.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I mean, offseason acquisition wise, so Jack Studnicka, Glenn Gaudin. I'm going to make the argument that Sean Element so far has been the top guy because he's the guy you least expected. Jack Studnicka has also been in the AHL.
He's been around, yeah.
He's been around
Veteran.
the block a little bit, and he's been the Pacific Division a lot too with the Abbotsford Canucks as well. So I almost feel like he's very familiar to Pacific League play or Pacific Division play, excuse me. Sean Element's not used to it. Sean Element looks absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
With that being said, do we want to get into the rain weather report?
Yeah, we will go into the rain weather report brought to you by Rain.
Collazo back at it again with the puns and corny jokes.
So my 100% is someone who we just mentioned. Probably should have saved it a little bit. But I'm going Jack Studnicka. Again, I think in my opinion, he's been one of the best acquisitions, probably the best acquisition the Reign got this year. Coming over from the Abbotsford Canucks, we didn't really know what to expect from him. And he has been nothing short of just
excellent
as advertised.
Yeah.
And he has a motor just like Turcotte. Like, he reminds me of Turcotte so much, the way he can bring the puck up the ice, entering the zone. His east to west skating is phenomenal. And he looks fast out there, and he gives everything on every single shift. And he's getting rewarded for it. He's scoring goals. He's getting assists. Scored 2 on Saturday night.
Yep.
So Studnicka is my 100% for this week. Hopefully he can keep this going, because Studnicka is going to be a big part of this Reign team going forward.
I don't have him in 50%, but can I also add another 100% player?
Yep.
Picked up 3 points Saturday night, had the game-winning goal on Friday night. Give me Charles Hudon.
Yeah.
Charles Hudon looked really good. The Ontario Reign coming into Saturday's game had 2 players with 3 points. 2 players on Saturday night recorded 3 points in their game in Charles Hudon and Samuel Fagemo. So, I mean, let's give Samuel Fagemo a little bit of credit too. It's like 3 stars of the game almost. Studnicka, Hudon, and Fagemo. Oh, funny. That's what the 3 stars were tonight.
Yeah.
Ha! Funny. Studnicka was the 3rd star, Hudon was the 2nd, and Fagemo was the 1st on Saturday night. So I want to give all 3 of those guys credit, because it's not just Studnicka.
100%. And if those 3 guys can get going, I mean, the Reign are, like we expected, are going to be a force to be reckoned with. If Samuel Fagemo can really get going, then that's going to be a problem with the entire Pacific Division.
Yes. He could turn to Ethan Frank on the Hershey Bears right now. Because Ethan Frank, I think, had 7 goals through 3 games or something redonkulous like that. So, getting into my 50% here, we really brought him up a lot on Friday's game. And I will also want to get a couple of other people in here. Give me Sean Element. I'm going to give you Sean Element specifically. 2 goals, the tip-in goal, and then the shorty going top shelf on Papirny. And then I also want to give the 4th line a little bit of credit with Hellenius and Doty as well. The enforcer line, the big boy line. We brought this up at the start of the year. Was it the start of the year? It was close to the start of the year. It might have been episode 2 or 3. So that line is the line that you do not want to be dealing with. Let's just say it that way.
100%. And Hellenius has been really good in the faceoff circle too. So the Reign, as far as faceoffs go as well, they've been phenomenal. Hellenius, Pinelli, Gaudin, and Studnicka. They've all been they've all been phenomenal inside the circle.
No doubt about it.
Who else did you want for 50%? You said that you had a couple guys that you wanted to at least mention.
The whole 4th line.
The whole 4th line?
Yeah, give Doty and Hellenius more credits due. The 4th line for the Ontario Reign, I swear, I don't know what it is. It could be just because Jacob Doty's there, but they produce NHL talent. They produced Andre Lee last year.
Yeah.
Andre Lee was out for like half of the year, comes back, 2 goals off the rip, opening goal against Coachella Valley. That's the first thing I really reminds me of.
Yeah.
Finishing checks, 6'6", huge presence. That's what you like to see out of the Ontario Reign. Samuel Hellenius right now looks the exact same way. Left-hand shot. He's not a left winger. He's a center. Samuel Hellenius to the Los Angeles Kings. Anybody?
I think there is a legitimate chance and a legitimate argument for Hellenius to, at some point, be up with the Kings at some point in the year.
Absolutely. He looks absolutely unbelievable right now, too.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I'm able to say that, too, because Samuel Hellenius is like the one guy, because he's been with the Reign now for, I think, 3 years.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because he was with them when Copley was down there in 22
Yeah,
and
we talked
21
about that a little bit a couple episodes ago. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, and then his overall growth of the game has just been spectacular. Can't complain about it. I mean, do we even have a 0% this week?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I have a 0%.
Oh, here we go.
I think if there was a 0%, it would be obvious. I'm going to go with Phoenix Copley.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it in the rain recap, but the Silver Knights went up 2-1, and that was because Copley let up I don't even know what happened. The easiest 5-hole in the world, I guess.
He goes glove up like it's icing, protecting the net. He's looking at the puck. What he doesn't realize is Sapovaliv is screeching into the zone. He beats icing, picks the puck up,
and then puts one on net.
Copley looks and he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah,
and then he doesn't close his 5-hole and he goes 5-hole and the Silver Knights score on it.
That was a really bad goal at that stage of the game because obviously the Reign have not been playing good, and we would be having a different conversation right now if the Reign were to lose this game, because then what was the point of Friday night's game if they were just going to come out and then lose in the fashion that they have been all year long?
Yeah.
Obviously, happier episode. They win 8-3. So it's like, we're over here over the moon about the Reign.
No doubt about it. Compared to last week, we're definitely over the moon.
Yeah.
The Reign were on a complete and utter onslaught Saturday night. I mean, anytime you register 50 shots in a game, that is an onslaught. I don't care who you are. Like, the game that immediately comes to mind, here I go with the Anaheim Ducks again. Last year, against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs, I think, put up 57 shots in a game. They won 2-1, by the way. Here we go. Lucas Dostal stood on his head again, stopping 55 of them.
Lucas Dostal fan club member? Admin.
CEO. Right here. Big fan of the Dost wall.
Copley is nothing like Dostal.
You said Copley, too.
Copley. Damn,
yeah, got him. Can't do that, bud.
He needs to be better, just, simply put. It didn't bite them today, but it bit them the last few games. I mean, you had one where it was Jacob Ingham, but I didn't think Ingham played that bad. I thought Ingham played better than Copley, but you can't really do anything about that. Ingham has options too.
Yeah, Ingham got hung out to dry the game he started, though.
He did. And Copley has been a little bit too, but we saw with Portillo when he was hung out dry, he made the saves. He played really well. And Copley hasn't, and it's a shame to see because Copley, if you were a first-year Reign fan, which I know that a lot of people watching us right now that are Joe's friends are probably first-year Reign fans, you would never guess that Phoenix Copley was at one point a formidable NHL goalie.
Yes,
and now he looks like he shouldn't even be on AHL ice.
And I was bringing this up to the friend I was with tonight. Phoenix Copley 2 years ago was like the big reason why the Kings made the playoffs. He went 23-8-3.
Yeah.
Like, he was spectacular with the Kings. But that's what one injury is going to do to you. Injuries
sucks.
Derail careers. Yeah. And so far, not going to jump to conclusions, it's looking like it for him. Yeah. And I don't like saying that.
That's just the truth, and it sucks to say because you don't want to rip on someone who has had a formidable NHL career and now is just not good. But that's just the truth of the matter. And if he doesn't turn it around quick, then his career is starting to look like that. It's officially on the downturn.
Yeah, I want to go through a couple of the other scores from tonight, Saturday night, because a lot of Pacific Division teams were in action tonight. I obviously brought up San Jose moving to 6-2, losing 4-1 to the Iowa Wild. We got a couple of other games here. Let me get to them. So obviously the Reign won 8-3. Abbotsford took down the San Diego
Goals suck.
By the final of 3-1. Abbotsford moves to 5-3-0-1 with the 0-1 being 0 overtime losses and a shootout loss this year. Mm-hmm. The San Diego goals moved to 2-7. We were really high on this team because I thought Tyson Hines, Noah Warren, Tristan Luneau, there are a lot of Anaheim Ducks prospects, and the Anaheim Ducks have like a top 3 farm system, and I thought a lot of them were going to be there. I also thought Beckett Seneca was going to be there. Hint, hint, he's in the OHL right now. So, other stuff. The Colorado Eagles are 4-3-0-1. They beat the Texas Stars tonight 5-1. We'll see the Texas Stars sometime in December. And then from Mechanics Bank Arena in Bakersfield, the Coachella Valley Firebirds beat the Condors 5-2. The Condors are 3-4. Bakersfield is 3-2-2-1. So 3-2-3. 3 overtime losses.
That's wild.
Ouch. So going through the standings here. Give me a second to pull them up right now.
I got it right here.
Here we go.
The Calgary Wranglers, 9-1. How about the Wranglers, man? You lose,
buddy.
You lose probably one of the better AHL, if not the best AHL goalie in the entire league in
Dustin Wolf.
In Dustin Wolf, and they're better somehow.
They look really good.
That's crazy. And they did have a good playoffs too. I mean, they almost beat Coachella Valley. They had a lot of close games. They almost went up 2-0 on Coachella Valley, which you got to wonder if they end up winning that series. Who knows where the Reign go?
Yeah,
but I think that's a better matchup for the Reign.
I like that matchup all the time, and the Reign had the Wranglers number last year too.
Exactly. Second place, San Jose Barracuda. No surprise there. They were not good last year, but with the acquisitions that they made, Podorowski and company, Jimmy Schultz and company, they were going to have a good year.
Having Yaroslav Askarov down there also helps.
Oh man, Askarov has been talking about Dustin Wolf being the best AHL goalie. Yeah. I mean, Askarov is by far, in a way, the best AHL goalie this year in the AHL.
Right now, it looks like it. Him and Colin Graff on the San Jose Barracuda racked up Player of the Month awards. So
they've been good.
There's a reason why the San Jose Barracuda are 6-2 right now.
I think if I was to make a pick right now on who's winning the division, I would probably have the Barracuda. If Askarov does not get caught up.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because Vanasek and Blackwood, I don't think is going to stick around for the whole year for the.
I think Romanov is a formidable AHL goalie, though. Like, I think Romanov can be okay.
He could be fine. It's almost like me talking about Stezka on the Firebirds. Yeah. We'll get to that in a moment.
Abbotsford Canucks 5-3, Colorado Eagles 4-3. TJ Tynan, congrats on the call up to the NHL.
Let's go!
Love to see it.
Fire me up, TJ Tynan. Welcome to the Colorado Avalanche, because the Avs are hurt beyond belief.
Yep.
It's like everyone's in the ER almost for that team.
In 5th place, Bakersfield Condors 3-2. 6th place, Tucson Roadrunners 4-4. In 7th, in the last playoff spot, obviously we're only like 7 games in, so it doesn't mean anything. But Coachella Valley Firebirds, I had them as a pick to miss the playoffs. Kind of a hot take.
Yeah.
They're 3-4.
It looks like it right now.
The Ontario Reign, 8th, 3-4. Henderson Silver Knights, 2-7 in 9th. And in last place, San Diego Gulls, 2-7, as you just said.
Yes. With that being said, that's about all we got to bring up in this episode. Next week, the Ontario Reign take on the 3rd place Abbotsford Canucks Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Friday night, they take on the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and I'm going to make that argument. That's probably the biggest rivalry the Reign have right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Over the Gulls. And then the Reign will take the I-10 East over to Palm Desert for a Sunday afternoon matchup against the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Big 2 games there.
Big time. We need to win those games. Hopefully the Reign can stay that way for the first time since May last year, and they have consecutive games won.
Yeah.
Since round 2 against Abbotsford. With that being said, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Make It Rain podcast. I'm Joe O'Regan. He's Anthony Collazo from the Hockey News. Have a great week, everybody. We will see you next Monday.